Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Come on in on this toasty Sunday evening. Come on in, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, guys, for joining in the Let's Talk discussion for tonight, and hopefully this will be a informative, uplifting, and inspiring discussion tonight. So come on in, guys, make yourself comfortable, and we're going to talk about men's health awareness tonight. So it's going to be something that will be important to the guys. Will be important to men, and we just want to talk about it and talk about issues facing guys, especially those in the Black community. So come on in, guys. Come on in. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Come on in and join us. Come on in and join us. And when you get into the broadcast, if you would do me a favor, if you would like and share this broadcast, like and share the broadcast, and also let me know that you're here. I did receive it. I tried to let you in. Send me another one because I don't know it. And now when I go to the my audience, I don't even see you in the audience, Mr. Jackson. So I don't see you on my audience. So send another request, or because I didn't see you when you came in, because usually it says somebody is watching. Okay. So I don't have anything else on. I made sure everything else is off. So can you make sure that everything else is off and try to come in again? I don't know what is going on. I'm going to go and get me some more equipment on tomorrow. I got the pods, but I need a different router to work the pods. So can you try again for me, please, Mr. Jackson? Thank you. Can you try going out and coming in again? But anyway, when you guys come in, if you would, please like and share the video. Just like and share the video. Let everyone know that Juju is on the air. I want to thank everyone who joined us on Thursday night for the debate watch party. The debate was probably a little hard to watch. However, we have to remember and realize that we have two very distinct choices. Hello, Duchess. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. If you don't mind, please liking and sharing the video when you come in. I would appreciate it. But we do have two distinct choices for president, and both of them are advanced in age. This is true. And I think a lot of us think, we wish we had other options. However, we do not. So we have to make a choice between the two options. The option that we do not have is to not vote. And also to not make an uninformed decision. Make sure when you are voting that you know your candidate's stance on issues that personally affect you, and then your community at large. Issues that, affect the community at large. So, Mr. Jackson, I don't see you. I don't know what is going on with I don't see you on my list to invite you. The only audience that I see is Duchess. She's the only one that's coming up as in the audience, in my audience. So I can't send you a request. So I don't, I have no ideas. You and I are just, oh, I need the video. I need video. I need video. What the world is really going on? Joy says she sees 5 people. You see 5 people? So it must be on me. Hello, Elaine Summers Burden. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Hello, Janet Thomas. Thank you for joining me tonight. How are you doing? How is everyone doing this evening? I don't know what's going on with my crazy phone. It just does all matter of craziness. And I don't know why the craziness. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. We are going to talk about men's health awareness. This is Men's Health Awareness Month. This is the last day for Men's Health Awareness Month. Elaine says she sees 5 as well, and I only see 1 person. What? I'm going to get me some more equipment. I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to the cable company to Spectrum tomorrow, and I'm going to get some additional equipment. I got my pods, but I don't have the router to go with the pods because the router I have is not a Spectrum router, and so it won't allow me to connect the pods to the router because it's not a Spectrum router. So hopefully I'll have better equipment next time we do this and we won't have these issues. But anyway, just so you guys will know, I won't be here on next week on the 7th. We will return on the 14th. Also, if there are any topics that you guys would like to discuss, let me or Mr. Jackson know, and we will gladly discuss those topics. Remember, this is not my show, it's our show. And this is not my discussion, it's our discussion. And if there's anything that you feel we need to talk about to inspire, uplift our community, then by all means, please let me know. Hello, Sister Jeanette Smith. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much again for helping us today. You just saw us struggling and you jumped right in, and I appreciate it so much. Hello, Miss Gladys Johnson. Thank you for joining Let's Talk this evening. Thank you for joining, Gladys. So we're going to be talking about men's health awareness tonight, and the importance of men's taking, care of themselves. Women, we do that. We take care of ourselves. So even if you are a woman on here tonight, don't leave, because I know you have some men in your life and you might have to prod them a little bit and encourage them and remind them of the importance of taking care of themselves. So you don't leave, you stay right here, because you need to hear this information, and you need to make sure that the men in your life are taking care of themselves, or getting the recommended treatments and the recommended testings and the recommended exams and procedures at the recommended times. to make sure that they stay healthy. All righty then. So when you guys come in, just a reminder, hello Christine Thomas. Thank you for joining this evening. It's so nice to see you. But if you all don't mind, if you would please like and share this video, like and share the video. Let everybody know that Juju is in her living room and we are discussing important topics that affect the men and women and children in our community, because we know that children need a healthy father. Okay, Mr. Jackson, I see. Let me see. I may be able to get you now. Let's see if we can get you in here now. We're going to see. We're going to cross our fingers. We're going to hope. And we're going to say good evening. Hey! Thank
Did,
you. You didn't give up. You did not quit.
I did,
And
there's some trickery over here.
okay, well, persistence pays off. Thank you. Thank
It
you.
does. It
Um,
really
uh,
does.
I appreciate it. So how have you been? You were telling me earlier how great a time you guys had um at church today. Just to say, yay, Jerry's here.
Yeah,
Uh
it was,
uh-huh.
church was really good. We celebrated the 50 years of Alberta King, the murder in the church. And we celebrated those families. And I, it was so historical because I learned so much. And it was several families that still attend Ebenezer that were
Okay.
in the audience, and they brought them all up on stage. It was just a wonderful celebration. And the singing, oh my God, that
Okay.
worship leader, that I kept thinking, they were singing a song that was a choir song, and I thought, what is she doing, getting ready to come down and take the mic? The woman led the song like I've never. She did it in a solo version, and
Mhm.
it was good. The message was really good. It was. I really needed that today. It was Matthew 7:11 through 19.
Okay.
It was, tied it in from the violence and, you know, love over hate, and we shall not fear. It was really, really, really good. And then we had an outside function, and then there was another celebration later. But I was exhausted from church and then going outside, and
Mhm.
so I had to come home and take another shower.
Okay.
This
Well, that
this
is
weather,
nothing in the world like a good worship service to kick off a day, to kick off a week. Um, and I encourage everybody when you wake up in the morning, just have a little praise session. We all have things to be grateful for and to be thankful for. So start your morning praising God. You will be amazed at how what a difference it makes. Your whole attitude will change. People around you will say, they'll notice a difference in your attitude. But anyway, I'm so glad that Mr. Jackson was able to join us tonight. I need my riding partner to ride with me. So thank you, Mr. Jackson. We're gonna go ahead. Well, it's 6:58. We're gonna prepare to get ourselves started. Is there anything that's going on that you need to share with us, Mr. Jackson, right
well,
now?
I know, I'm sure you have done this, but because in my absence, I need to apologize for not being present, but I also need to just validate the thank yous that you shared with the community and the people that have been so supportive of us with the
Yeah.
Juneteenth celebration. It
Yeah.
was it was magnificent. We really appreciate the attendance. It was hot, but it was still enjoyable. So thank you to all the vendors. to all the citizens that came out to support St. Luke and to understand Juneteenth and really help us to make it a success as it was. So thank you so much for that. Make sure that you be careful during this celebration week, as many of you will be celebrating Independence Day on July 4th. Um, if you celebrate it, have a great time and remember what it's for. I'm not going to say don't celebrate it because there is some validity to
Mhm.
Independence Day, just like it's some validity to Juneteenth.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I want us to be careful and celebrate with dignity
Mhm.
and honor the country for her independence.
Mhm.
And as we were stating earlier, um, we don't have any other choices but the two choices, and then the other independents and different party leaders of the choice. But the worst choice could be not to exercise your right. Get out and vote. The black job is to vote.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a black job. The black job is to go vote. Stop playing into the media. Understand what's at stake and vote
Mhm.
like your
Mhm.
ancestors depended on it. Get
Mhm.
out and vote. But what you have to do is you've got to understand and learn for yourself.
Mhm.
A stimulus check is not a reason to vote for a candidate. To get something for nothing is not a reason to vote for a candidate. To get someone out of jail is not a reason to vote for a candidate. Look at what is important to you, understand what's at stake, democracy or popularity. Um,
Mhm.
we are
Mhm.
living in perilous times, and it's
Mhm.
very important that we go out and exercise our rights. So it is 8:02, Julia, and it's time for us to
It's
get
time
started.
for us to get started. Yes, it is. So, welcome everybody to this week's edition of Let's Talk. I am your host, Juju, and you are coming. We are coming. I am coming to you live from my living room tonight. Each week here on Let's Talk, we will discuss current events and their impact on the Black community. We will also highlight local Black owned businesses, local entrepreneurs, local artisans, local nonprofits, and upcoming events that will give small businesses an opportunity to showcase their products. Let's Talk is created to be a positive, uplifting, and informative discussion. All constructive opinions are welcome as we must learn to listen to and consider the opinions of others, even if we don't necessarily agree with them. This isn't a place to tear down, but to uplift and enlighten. Therefore, if your comments are not coming from a place of love and are not intended to uplift, we kindly ask that you please find another forum to express them. Please note that any opinion that I might share is strictly that, my opinion. This is not intended to be a news show, but we will try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that are knowingly untrue. It is my sincere hope that everyone finds this to be a safe place where you feel comfortable engaging with one another and sharing your opinions. About the host, I am a child of the Most High God who has been saved by grace. Every good and perfect part of me comes from God. Therefore, I praise Him and I give Him glory anytime I am given the opportunity. My motto is I am walking by faith, I'm inspiring hope, and sharing love all along the way. Let's Talk is produced by my dear friend, my brother, who has always got my back, Mr. Jerry Jackson. I just love this man and I thank him so much. And I also want you guys to know that if there are any topics that you're interested in discussing, please let me and Mr. Jackson know, and we will do our best to make it happen. Also, if you are a small business and you would like for us to highlight your business on an episode of an edition of Let's Talk, let me know or let Mr. Jackson know. We are here to promote small businesses and to highlight them as well. And so, all that being said, let's talk. Tonight, we're going to focus on men's health awareness. This is Men's Health Awareness Month, and I don't want my ladies to drop off. Y'all stay on because I know all of you know some men. And so sometimes we have to prod our men and our brothers, our husbands, our friends, our cousins, our sons, and make them go to the doctor because they don't necessarily want to do that. So stay on, and so we can get this good information. Let me say hello to Mr. Eric Singleton, Miss Sharonda Anthony. Hey, sister. Hello to my love, Althea Thomas. How are you doing? Jonathan Collins. Hello. How are you doing? Mr. Elton Vincent. Thank you all for watching. So, icebreaker. Our icebreaker for tonight. For the males watching or the females who have males in their life, how many of you make sure that you have your annual exams and that you keep up with your recommended screenings? How many do that? Do you have annual exams, guys? And do you keep up with your recommended screenings? Hello, Rachel. Hi, Boo. How you doing, my bestie? I love you. Um, Mr. Jackson says he get his exams every year, especially since I was very sick in 2019. And you were very sick in 2019. Was that a result, Mr. Jackson, of you not doing what you're supposed to do as far as health concerns and screenings and doctor visits? Did it get to the
Absolutely.
point that it got to because of that?
I caused all of that because of the lack of taking care of myself and following the doctor's orders. I thought everything was okay because I felt good. And I want to share with men and women as well that high blood pressure, hypertension is a silent killer. And you don't know how detrimental it is until it's all out of control.
Mhm.
Um, my oxygenation was at 66%. I was walking dead, to be honest. The doctors still tell me Emory University made me a poster child because they said that they did not understand why I did not lose functionality of my organs because at 66% of oxygenation, they don't know how I was walking around and still breathing. And that led me to 2.5 months of being in the hospital.
Mhm.
Um, and it was a demise to my everything. And I developed what was called congestive heart failure, which leads from hypertension to high blood pressure, which causes fluid buildup. And I'll never forget, in I think it was October, your sister
Mhm.
Duchess asked me if I were okay. And then I said, "Are you showing me angry?" But she could hear something in the way I was breathing and how I was behaving. And another woman, I was in line behind her, and she told her son, she said, "Something's wrong with Jerry because he was breathing so hard and he just didn't look right. He looked like he was swollen." Well, that was all
Mhm.
during that time because I had come home in
Mhm.
October and November, and that was the time that I was becoming very sick. And finally, I just said, I can't take it anymore. And they drove me to Emory Hospital, and
Mhm.
I was in there from December to February.
Mhm.
And I was on life support for
Mhm.
19 days, which
Mhm.
is very unorthodox because typically the doctors don't want you to be on life support for that length of time without doing the tracheotomy.
Mhm.
Um, and thanks be to God that my sister and the nursing people in my family said don't do it because it would damage his vocal cords. But at any rate, to answer your question, I caused all of that to myself because I was not taking my medication. And
Mhm.
if you have blood pressure medicines, you need to make sure you take them, but you also need to know what the side effects are. And every blood pressure pill that is prescribed to you is not good for you. So it has to match your DNA. The correct pills need to be for you. And anything that ends in Priel is really not good for us. Thank God I don't take any of high blood pressure medications that end in Priel. But the doctors at Emory are trying, they call it the three, I forgot what he named it, he said, but they're the heavy hitters. And it's
Mhm.
like it's a, it's three different meds that work together
Mhm.
to control your pressure that's not tearing up your kidneys as well.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and
Okay.
my blood pressure's like 128 over 70, so that's really good.
Great.
But
Mhm.
it was my
Mhm.
fault, Julia.
Okay. All righty. Hello, Tracy Ware and Kelvin Thomas. Thank you for joining us. On an average, guys, men live 5 years less than women. On an average, men live 5 years less than women. And what do you think contributes to the disparity in the lifespan of men and women? Um, what do you think contributes to that lifespan disparity? Um, guy, um, but anyway, hello, Mr. Andrew Page. How are you doing? Hello. Okay, so at an average stage of life, men are encouraged to consider, at every stage of life, I'm sorry, men are encouraged to consider three equally important aspects of health. That's the physical health, the mental health, and social connections. And Men's Health Month, which is June, raises awareness on how these aspects work together and remind men to take charge of their health. Um, it says that men aged 15 to 65 are significantly less likely than women to seek preventive care services, and they are more likely to report not having a primary care provider. That's not good, male or female. I encourage all of you to have a primary care provider. The urgent care is not a primary care provider. The emergency room is not a primary care provider. A good first step on the path towards improved health is to make a call and establish with a primary health provider. A primary health care provider will review medical, surgical, and family history and recommend age and risk appropriate health screenings. Okay, so do all of you guys out there have a primary care provider? And the reason it is so important to have a primary care provider is because if you're going to this doctor for your heart issues, this doctor for kidney issues, this doctor for your blood pressure, this one for diabetes, this one if you're dealing with mental health issues, and they're all prescribing drugs. And one doctor, Dr. A, has no idea what Dr. B is giving you. You can be taking drugs that have a negative impact. They're interacting negatively with you with one another and causing more damage than they're doing good. So it's very important for you to have a primary health care provider. And also, like this says, your primary health care provider should know your family history. Like I go to my primary care provider, and he was actually my mom's doctor for years and years. So he can tell me, okay, you need to watch out for this because of this. Okay, if somebody's numbers, if somebody comes in and their A1C is 7.1, it may not be that alarming or that critical for that person, that individual. But if I come in, mine is over 7, okay, your mom was a diabetic. Although he would always call her my grandmama, and I was like, Dr. Cooper, that's my mama. But anyway, your mom was a diabetic, and you have to be very careful with these things and just certain other things. And he'll say, okay, well, you had this going on, because he knew my mom's medical history. Therefore, he can look at my history and or my current conditions and recommend, give a more informed recommendation on things that I should and should not do. So you need someone who knows your medical history and who knows everything that's going on. They can coordinate uh, all of those medications that you have. They get information from your heart specialist, from your nephrologist, from your endocrinologist, even from your rheumatologist and all these other doctors, and they know what surgeries you've had. If you still, okay, you got this pain in your side, okay, but your gallbladder is gone, so we know that's not a gallbladder issue. You know, all these different things. So it's so important to have a primary care physician. And so if you don't have one, get one, okay? All righty then. So the second part is men's mental health. Okay, mental health is an important determinant of overall health and the quality of life at every age. Although men are more likely to suffer depths of despair, including alcoholism, overdose, and suicide, they are far less likely than women to seek out mental health services. Undiagnosed and untreated mood disorders in young men are associated with impaired learning, risk-taking behaviors, use of substances, and violence. Adult men with chronic diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular disease have worse outcomes when they also suffer from depression. And depression is associated with decreased longevity in older men. Men should be aware of the symptoms of depression and anxiety and know when it's time to seek help. Organizations like Help Us Guys, the National Black Men's Health Network, Don't Change Much, and the Movember Foundation provide useful tips for self-care and have online self-assessment tools to help men know when it's time to speak with a healthcare professional. Opening up about mental health and normalizing a discussion around depression, anxiety, and suicide risk is something that men can do for themselves and for each other. Do you think, question, it is okay for a man to seek assistance with mental health issues? And that I'm posing to everybody, but especially the guys. Do you think it's okay for men to seek assistance with mental health issues? And I societally, let's just ask that, societally, do you think it's okay? Do you think that it shows a sign of weakness for a man to admit they have mental health issues? What do you guys think? I'm
So
we're gonna give them a time, and while we let them chat, I'm gonna talk to you, Mr. Jackson.
um,
Um,
I,
did
I love the
did
question.
depression contribute to your health issue in 2019?
Um, yes, it did. It only exacerbated the issue because my depression is what led me not to take my medication. All I wanted to do was sleep. I wanted to stay in the bed. It was just so much I did not want to do. I became a recluse. And so, therefore, in my depressive state, that exacerbated my health concerns because my depression and all the other things were telling me not to take my med
Mhm,
and just
mhm,
wanted me to stay in the bed. And as I was doing
mhm,
that, it was only hurting me. And I think it's extremely critical that men, I don't care who you are, uh, gay, straight, black, red, yellow, orange, white, blue, everybody needs to take care of their mental health. Um, and unfortunately, in the black community, it's even worse because that's a taboo conversation. That's a
mhm,
conversation
mhm,
that
mhm,
you're considered to be weak, or I've
mhm.
even heard people say you're a sissy.
Yeah,
You're weak
yeah.
if you can't handle an issue.
Just
I've
suck
heard
it
people,
up.
yeah,
Be a man.
I've heard parents tell their sons, "Suck it up, tighten up your belt loop, and just get over it and move on."
Mhm,
Fortunately, that has us in a state of mind where we are losing total control of our bodies because we've been made to feel that if we go seek attention or tell somebody that they don't feel right, then we look at them and say, "Oh, you're just weak, or you're a
mhm,
sissy, or you're
mhm,
not tough." I beg
mhm,
your pardon. So many men that I know that I talk to on a daily basis because I'm a huge mental health advocate, they tell me how their pillows are wet at night and
mhm,
how when they pull in the garage, they're sitting out there 30 minutes to wind down before they go in the house because
mhm,
of what they're dealing with on a daily basis.
mhm,
Men, because we've always been told we are the provider,
mhm.
that we're in control of everything, but it's too much pressure on the men, and
Sometimes. Mhm, mhm,
therefore, the men are struggling, and the suicide rate in the black male community is at an all-time rate. I don't have the
mhm,
data. I don't have the
mhm.
data, but it's very
Yeah.
large, even
We
from our young boys.
we'll go that. I have some of that data. We do have some comments,
And
Mr.
I see
Jackson. You want to?
them. I'm
Okay.
gonna respond. Michael
Okay.
France said, yes, a man should seek help if it's needed. Gladys Johnson says, yes, I think it is okay for a man to seek help with depression. And then Michael France says, it is a sign of strength when you
I
ask for
agree.
when you need it, help when you need it.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Um,
I agree.
it
I
is a
agree.
sign of strength when you can say, hey, I'm not okay.
I'm not okay.
Something's not
Hmm.
right. I can't sleep. And see, what people need to understand that when you can't sleep, when you're lying down in the bed and your mind is going several miles an hour, that's either ADHD, depression, it could be a plethora of things. But as my
Hmm.
grandmother would say, you need to go get seen about. And as
Get
big of a
yourself thinking
Christian
about.
as I
Hmm.
am, I believe in prayer. I
Yes.
do. But you
Yes.
also need to go to a medical professional, someone that can
Hmm.
help you
Hmm.
and you can talk it out. I'm telling you, talking to someone, and you're going to, don't misunderstand or misconstrue what I'm saying. Talking to someone other than your Savior can save your life.
Yeah, I
Because
agree. And then I see we have a comment from Andrew, and he said, I believe that this is why women live longer. And I think, women can have more of an outlet, and they are more willing to get some of that stuff off of them, the pressure that like you said, Jerry, that men feel, and they feel like they'll be looked at as less of a man if they let anybody know that they're going through these things. And women can more easily express these things. And Latanya said, that's correct, sir. Yeah, that's why the women live longer, because and also Latanya was saying about you being able to talk to someone, men and women, but this Men Health Month. So other than praying about it, and that is good. But the Lord does put these different professionals. He does gift people with different giftings, and psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors have these different giftings. And if you're not feeling well mentally, emotionally, then seek some help, because that has a bearing on your physical well-being.
Julia,
And go ahead.
it's also imperative that we as individuals, we hear from our peers, our friends, and our relatives all the time about the isms and schisms that they have, and we recognize, well, you really are in a depressive state,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't
Mm-hmm.
ever try to say, well, what can I do to help you? Or let's call the number and let's talk to somebody. I
Mm-hmm.
did a wellness check on my cousin. She
Mm-hmm.
was not talking right, so
Mm-hmm.
I dialed the number, and I had a wellness check on her, and thank God we went to get her because she was spiraling
Oh,
and was in a
yeah.
very bad state of mind. But if I would not have listened to what she was saying to me and just said, oh, well, let's just pray about it. No, it takes a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more than praying. What can I do for you? And I told her, I said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to come over there and see about you. But instead of me
Mm-hmm.
driving, she was 45 minutes away. I dialed the number, the crisis line,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a wellness check, and they took her in and checked her out, and come to find out she was in a very, very depressive state, because when grief will cause you to do some different things, and grief has no timetable, and when you're the only person in the family that's left,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't know what to do. So we
Yeah.
have to be very careful, and I'd much rather overreact than not to react at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I apologize to Andrew Page for not, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why I cannot see his responses or his comments, but thank you, Duchess, for recognizing him. And once he puts his comments in there, just say something, Duchess, and we'll make sure that
Yeah.
we recognize him, because Andrew and I go back 40 something years. That's my partner in crime from the University of Alabama. So I don't ever want him to think that I'm overlooking him. No, sir. Roll Tide, my friend.
Roll Tide. Hello, to my cousin, Mrs. Helena Thomas Duncan. Thank you for joining us. And then we have the physical part of men's health. We have the mental part, and then the social connections. And social connections is as essential to our health and well-being. And an increasing number of Americans report loneliness and social isolation. Research shows that people who experience loneliness and isolation are at an increased risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, depression, and anxiety. Lacking social connection can even increase the risk of premature death to levels comparable to smoking. Okay. On the other hand, maintaining social connections promote better physical and mental health, eases stress, and even promotes a healthier immune system. Taking simple steps like answering a phone call from a friend, inviting someone to share a meal, or volunteering in your community can help you feel connected. The U.S. Surgeon General recently issued a first of its kind advisory on the epidemic of loneliness and isolation. In it, Vice Admiral Vivek Murthy outlines actions that we can take on a national, local, and individual level to help us stay connected. So I think part of the issue with social connections, of course, COVID. When COVID came along, everybody went into the house. And I think we got accustomed to being in the house. And so I kind of think, just like mental health and everything, it's easier for women to say, girl, let's go out and have a drink, or come on over here, we're going to have some cheese and some wine, we're going to have a wine down, or whatever, than guys. There are some guys that say, hey, let's go to the bar, let's go to the ball game, or let's do everything. But I think, once again, it is harder, or it's easier for women just to say, come on, girl, get my girl's friend, we're going to have a girls' night out, and we're going to go and do this. And then another thing that I think contributes a lot to the isolation and social disconnect is this social media, okay? We're on social media and we're talking to each other, but there's nothing like a in-person encounter with a human being. I can't reach out and hug you if I feel like you need a hug through Facebook. I see your air hugs, but there's something about an air hug just not the same as a real hug. Hello, Mr. Eric Dowdell. Thank you for watching. Do you think, guys and girls, that maintaining social connections really affect your physical health? Some people don't believe that. Do you think that it it can affect your physical health, not maintaining social connections?
Julia,
Uh-huh.
speaking from experience, in a place where you don't have family, I have to make family, okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I live in a large subdivision,
Mhm.
have to seek out people.
Mhm.
I'm very involved. Well, I was very involved with the HOA. I was the president until it became overwhelming. It was just too
Okay.
much.
Okay.
But without my social connections, I think I would be distraught. I would be in a world of trouble because, as much as I have connections back in Alabama with you, my relatives, my brother, my sister, and my some people from church, wherever you are, you have to have and maintain a social connection. You've got to be surrounded by people that are like-minded, that think like you do, that want to do the things that you want to do, and
Mhm.
introduce you to things that will enhance your life.
Mhm.
Sitting at home and sitting on the porch, watching the cars go by every day, or
Mhm.
playing outside with Jake, that is not enough for me.
Mhm.
I have to get up and I force myself to put on clothes, to get in the car. Sometimes I just turn off the GPS and just drive, Jake and I in the
Mhm.
car. And we get lost, but we have the
Mhm.
best time. And then I put the GPS back on and drive back
And you
home.
find
And we've had,
your way back
yeah, and
home. Okay.
we've had the best time. But I do these things because I know my medicinal issues. I know what's going to make it better for me. But what are we doing for those that we do know that they stay in the house all the time, or when they come from work, they're in the house? We have got to be accountability partners. We've got to be accountable and help our relatives and friends. I have several people that I'm accountable for. Um, make it my business to just send a text all out of the blue, or I pick up the phone and call them. And if they don't sound right, I'll get in the car and drive and see what's going on. Because a lot of times when someone is in your spirit or they drop in your spirit, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't act on those. But I often think about my condition and where I would be if people did not check on me. Where would I be? So I want to return the favor. So I put in the chat to ask a question. How many of
Okay.
you have an accountability partner that will call and check on you regularly? Are they checking on your well-being? Do you have
Okay.
anyone? Are you returning the favor as well? We always, and here's another thing, I don't keep me on task. We will say people are acting funny when they don't call us. But that's the number one sign right there to let us know that something is out of whack. When people go into a recluse state and they're not responding, something is wrong. So as a human, if I'm going to text, I'm going to call, and then maybe I'll call your children and say, what's up with your mama? Why is she not responding? Tell her to call me. Oh yeah, I'll do that in a heartbeat and won't think anything about it. But I'm also learning how to give grace too, because so many people are dealing with so many other things besides themselves. We are at an age where we're taking care of our parents, and that's another concern that causes depression and anxiety, because when our parents are going through, what do? We go through right with them, and it causes all types of ailments with us. But I was just curious to see. I can't see anybody responding. Duchess says Andrew Page has said if therapy is covered by insurance, that is a major question. And I know that many companies, especially during COVID, was offering therapeutic sessions and psychiatric sessions for no charge. I know that at my company, I get 12 sessions at no charge, and I get to see my psychiatrist every 6 months, and then I see my therapist almost every 2 weeks, and
Okay.
I still have yet to be charged. So it is all dependent upon the company
Yeah.
that you
And I
serve.
guess that's what a person would need to check
Yeah,
and see what their
yeah,
insurance does. And then some companies, even if the insurance is not covering, they have employee
that
assistance
is
programs
correct.
to help employees that are going through, if you're going through mental issues or you have addiction problems, substance abuse, or things of that nature. They have employee assistance programs that first of all will help you at no cost. Secondly, they protect your job as well. So if you're going through something and your company has those uh, um, programs or those services available, make sure that you take advantage of those. And I know another thing, Mr. Jackson, that has caused for a social disconnect, and I know this is relevant to you, is a lot of people work from home now. So you don't even have that social connection of going into the office with and connecting with your coworkers. So it is very important that you have some girlfriends or some guy friends or whatever, some friends that you can just ride out with, or you can just call if you're going through something, like you say, we're checking on. And I know sometimes you'll call me and you'll say, I saw a picture of you on Facebook. You didn't look right. What's wrong? Or that text message didn't sound right. Or are you okay? What's wrong with you? Or even like you say, you just dropped in my spirit. What's going on? So I know you will do that, Mr. Jackson, because you do it with me. And you like, Julia, you don't look right. You don't sound right. You're not acting right. So but that
Because,
social connection is very important.
but here's the key, Julia. If you care for someone, that's what you're going to do. I mean, uh, Duchess does that to me. I mean, just all out of the blue, she said, "You dropped in my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't heard from you." Or she'll say, "Are you okay?" And every time she does it, I'm always
Oh, Mr. Jackson, don't do that. Please don't do that to me this evening. But I know what you mean. If you're always going through and to know that somebody, if you know that God has placed somebody in your life that
and
he
I'm
can
so
say,
thankful. I'm thankful. I am so
mm-hmm,
thankful.
and that person is going to be willing to hear what God is saying to them about you and love you enough to reach out and be obedient to the will of God. I mean, we serve a mighty good God. Now, I'll say that. Like I said, I'm a child of God, so I'm going to give him the honor and the praise every chance I get. And he can place angels in our lives and people. And when you when you hear from God that somebody is or that somebody is in need, or somebody needs your help, or somebody needs a word of encouragement, or like you said, just a text message or something, be obedient to the spirit, because you could literally save somebody's life. I have been, when I worked in Kmart, I would talk to different people, and people would come in, and and sometimes I don't know why. I think it's just because I'm a social worker, and I think I put that spirit out there, or that vibe out there, and people get it. People will come up to me, strangers, and just start talking to me about their issues. So anyway, Kmart had been closed. I was working in Jackson Hewitt, and this guy that used to come into Kmart on a regular basis, I hadn't seen him forever since Kmart closed, came to me, and he said, "Do you remember me? I used to come in Kmart." I said, "Yeah, I remember you. You used to come in Kmart all the time." And he said, "I came into Kmart one day," and he said, "At that point, my wife and my daughter had just been killed in a car accident." And he named several other things that was going on. And he said, "All I could think to do was go home and kill myself." He said, "I was literally planning to go home and kill myself." He said, "But you talked to me and you encouraged me." And he said, "You didn't even know what was going on. I didn't even tell you that my wife and daughter had just been killed in a car accident." He said, "But you talked to me, you ministered to me, we laughed, and you encouraged me, and you inspired me to live another day." And he said, "Now I'm remarried, I have twins, da 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 da." And I said, you honestly, I remember the guy, but I can't remember the conversation. But when you allow God to use you and you're obedient to what he's telling you, you can literally save someone's life.
So make sure that you are being obedient to the spirit and what they're talking about. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Keats Morgan. Latanya. Hi, Latanya. How are you doing? Yes, a lot of companies offer coverage, and there are low cost online services available. Yes. East Alabama Mental Health has a sliding scale. All righty. And hello, Miss Angelina Moore. Dutchess says she feels you, her brother, and she says that you and her are connected in spirit. I can feel when something is not okay with you. Isn't that a blessing? Isn't that a blessing?
Really,
And
yeah.
Latanya said, "Praise God, my brother." And Andrew said, "I feel my brother's pain. Been there only last week." So yeah, it just is so important to have that connection. That's what we're talking about right there. Having that connection, that social connection. It is so important. It's so important to have, like you always say, Jerry, your circle. And you always say how great your circle is and how much you love your circle. So, yes, we all need a circle. Okay. And now I want us to talk about some of the leading causes of death among men. And I want us to first look at Black men, leading causes of death among Black males. Um, from the age 1 to 19, the leading cause of death for males, Black males 1 to 19, is homicide. 35% of males that from 1 to 19 that die as a result of homicide. The second is unintentional injuries, car accidents, on the job injuries, or whatever, unintentional injuries. And then number 3 is suicide. So that is what we're looking at for 7, for 1 to 19. And so when we look at that, 35%, that's a medical emergency, a health crisis. They talk about the gun epidemic being really a health crisis or a medical emergency. And this is why 35% of the males 1 to 19 that die as a result of homicide. Hello, Austin. Hey, that's my baby right there. Hey, Austin, thank you for joining me. So good to see you. And then 20 to 44, the leading cause of death, homicide. It goes down. It's 27.6%, but it's still leading cause homicide. The second, unintentional death. And then with them, the third is heart disease. Heart disease is number 3. But we look at between 1 and 44, the leading cause of death in Black men ages 1 to 44 is homicide. And we don't think about homicide as being a medical emergency, but when you look at those statistics, then we know that it's literally killing us. Our young men are dying at rates, at very high rates. When you look at all races, that rate for 1 to 19 is cut in half. It's 16%, and then for 20 to 44, it's like 8.8% when you look at other races. But for Black, so that is something that we need to, as a community, figure out how we are going to, what can we do to decrease the homicide rate for our young Black men. Okay. And from 45 to 64, the leading cause of death is what we would probably think: heart disease. Heart disease in Black men, the leading cause of death. In 45 to 64, and then the second leading cause is cancer, and 65 to 84, the leading cause is cancer, and then heart disease is number 2. So they swap places. And from 85 up, the leading cause is heart disease. The second leading cause is cancer. So, do those statistics surprise you guys? Mr. Jackson. Hello, Darlene Todd. How are you doing?
Absolutely. I am not surprised at any of the data that the statistical data. I was a little bit alarmed with the 45 to 64, where cancer was the number one cause of death, and then heart disease was right there behind it by 0.02 percentage points. And I can see why there is a large number of us dying from heart disease. It's because of our bad eating habits, but believe it or not, it's our mental state.
Stress.
My doctors told me that my mental state is what exacerbated my heart disease. Although my father had heart disease, but Daddy never had congestive heart failure. He just had hypertension. Well, I had hypertension, which was not treated by me because I wasn't taking my medication, but I also had mental concerns that went undiagnosed for years. And so that only exacerbated my illness when it came to hypertension, because when you're walking around with mental concerns and trauma for years, that does nothing but eat at your organs and cause you to have high blood pressure. I can remember when I was in the band in high school and we had to get physicals, and my blood pressure was high, and the doctor just told me to lie down, and then they checked it again and it was okay. I really feel like I had high blood pressure when I was in the 9th grade, and because my heart would always beat bad. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, but I feel like I had high blood pressure at an early age. But going back to my mental state, it has really enhanced my heart condition. So it's very alarming. It's and people don't understand that stress is one of the number one causes of death, because stress leads to all of these medical concerns. You know,
It can, like you say, it exacerbates, like even blood sugar. And you would think, what does stress have to do with diabetes? But if you're highly stressed, your blood sugar will be elevated. Michael Fran said the data does not surprise him, and Joy said that the data does not surprise her, but the homicide rate for young men saddens me. And these are our young Black men, because what I want you guys to look at when it comes to all races, the second leading cause of death for all races is suicide. And so we know even some of the homicide is caused by stress. Suicide is caused by stress. And it's unresolved issues that can cause so much of this, and people not being able to talk to one another or someone else, talk through your problems, talk through your issues. I pick up a gun and that's how I solve my problems, or a knife or whatever, or I kill myself, I overdose, or I hang myself or something. That's how I solve my problems. So we're not teaching our young men, especially, how to cope in this very stressful world. And things are, like I said, this world is very stressful, and there's no coping skills, and people have a sense of hopelessness. And so, it doesn't matter if I go out and kill somebody. It doesn't matter what's going to happen to me. I don't care that that person's life is over. I'm a walking dead because I'm hopeless. I have no hope. Or I go home and kill myself. These stresses and strains of life are real. And like Mr. Jackson say, they play such a major part in all of these health issues that we have. And like Duchess said, it's sad, the rate of homicide for young Black men. But we have to teach our young people coping skills. But in order to teach them, guess what? We got to get some coping skills for ourselves. That's what we have to do. We have to learn how to cope with all the vicissitudes and the changes and the challenges of life. Life is not easy. Life is not easy. Hello to my pastor, Reverend Monique Summers. Thank you for joining me, Pastor Summers. But life is not easy, but we have to teach people the coping skills that they need. Call 988 for any what is that, for any mental health concerns that you may have. And men, I want to encourage you to make sure that you are first getting you a primary care physician. Get that primary care physician. Make sure that you're having annual checkups, and if your doctor tells you, that you need medications, or sometimes diet and exercise can change things, but do what the doctor says, and then make sure that you are getting your recommended screenings. Know when it's time for you to have your prostate exams. Know when it's time for you to have your colonoscopies. Know when it's time to have your blood pressure checked, your heart checked, check your blood sugar levels. Know when all of these screenings are suggested, and at what age, and get the screenings. Okay, get the screenings. And if you are feeling desperate or in despair, seek that mental health. If you're feeling depressed, lonely, or alone, seek that mental health, um, seek that help with those mental issues, and then get you a circle. Get you a circle of friends that you can depend on and that you are connected to, especially if you're single. If you're married, most time you got your family, but if you're a single person, make sure that you have a circle that's going to be there to support you, and that's going to recognize when something is not right. No, you all can go out and have some good times. Laughter and fun, guys. Laughter is I had a church member, Mr. Matthews. used to always say laughter is like a dose of medicine, better than a dose of medicine. So he would come and tell when my mom was living and tell us some jokes, and me and Althea would look at each other, and my mom would say, Carl, they said tell them that joke again, and we still looking trying to get the joke, and after the third time we still ain't got the joke, and that becomes the joke. But learn to laugh and enjoy your life. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life. And sometimes you have to choose to be happy in spite of what's going on. You have to just make that choice. I'm not going to let this situation, this circumstance, this person steal my joy. I'm going to choose to be happy anyway. Darlene says spend 99%. You spend 99% of your time alone, Miss Todd. That's not good. We gonna have to get you a circle because that's not good for you.
It's
Althea
not.
says, and we did. Yes, we did. Yes, we enjoyed those non-jokes. Janet said, "Great information shared." Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. Mr. Jackson, what we got as far as announcements are concerned tonight?
Thank you so much. This was absolutely a phenomenal event. Thank you so much to our wonderful people that constantly come in and support us. Next week, July 7th, we will not have a show. We will return the second Sunday, July 14th, and we'll keep you abreast of that. We want you to go out and have a wonderful, wonderful celebration of Independence Day this week. And please don't forget to subscribe to the Divinely Guided Podcast YouTube channel. You can catch the new episodes each Monday featuring the dynamic mother daughter team of Duchess Thomas and Adriel Vincent. I have posted the link in the chat. I posted it twice just so that you would not miss it. We also ask that you subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse, the YouTube channel. You're going to keep up with everything going on with By Juju for you. Also, you can catch any additions to Let's Talk that you may have missed. The YouTube channel has been posted for your benefit. We also ask that you like and share this presentation and encourage your friends to come out and support us. And By Juju for You is a proud supporter of Hold Up the Light Huddle. So we are looking forward, as Juju says, we're walking by faith, inspiring hope, and showing love. We thank you so much for coming out and being a part of us. This has been a very enlightening conversation. And no, I do not apologize for my emotional being. I thank God every day for my emotional being. And I do cry a lot, but it's good for my soul. So those are the announcements. And I turn it back over to you, our wonderful host,
Oh,
Juju.
okay. Well, thank you for that last announcement because I tried to hold mine together. But if you ask my sister Althea, she will tell you I will cry at a stop sign. So, stop at the stop. Just stop the stop sign up there. I just go to crying. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We are off next week. We will be back on the 14th. If you have topics that you want to talk about, let me know, Mr. Andrew Page. I got yours. And I think it's a great one. And so we'll definitely get that in there. And I know you all want to go back and revisit and talk some more about religion because y'all had some more that you wanted to discuss about that. And
Yeah.
Project 2025, we're going to get that in there July. And that may be what we have on the 14th. But you guys make sure that you are registered to vote, encouraging your friends to vote, making sure that you go out to vote. It is very important. Know what the candidate you're voting for really stands for. Know what their platform is and know how it will affect you and those surrounding you. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. I am Juju. I am that mountain moving giant slayer. And until next time, I wish all of you much love and many blessings. I love you. Good night. Good night, Mr. Jackson. Love you. I ain't gonna
Wait.
call you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Love you. Bye bye.